Hello and welcome to the Hardcore Gamers Club. My name is Daniel and today's video is proper cleaning and maintenance of your Xbox One Series X. Not the Xbox One X, but the Series X. In today's video I'm going to talk to you about the do's and don'ts and prolonged care to avoid 99% of all your expensive repairs before they happen. Okay, I'm going to tell you a few things that you should absolutely never do with your system and show you exactly how to clean it out properly at home without damaging anything, and what you should and should not be trying to do on these game systems as far as warnings are concerned, because a lot of people, I've seen grown men that told me, oh yeah, I'm super mechanically inclined, I know exactly what I'm doing, and so once I get the game system in, I open it up and like, oh my god, dude, you do not know what you're doing. You should have never turned a screw on this. Stick to cars. Anyway, let's get to the Xbox One X series, and I apologize in advance for the shop being inside shop being a little bit on the dirty side, because it is a weekend and I haven't had a chance to straighten up. So let me get this camera here. Now the lighting in the shop is all coming straight down. This is not a video studio and I don't have $1 billion and I'm not an actor, so forgive me if I repeat myself or we have a little bit of bad lighting. So let's start with the disk drive for prolonged preventative maintenance and care. This disk drive here, you will want to, once a week, literally once a week, get a Q-tip swab. Take it, moisten the tip, grab it right at the bottom of the Q-tip, and take it and clean right here. Do not go past the felt liner. You see the dirt on the end of that? Do not go past the felt liner. Just clean that up once a week. Pick a day of the week, Friday, Saturday, something like that, and every week clean that up. That will help prevent the disk from pushing the dust that's building up here into the disk drive and will greatly extend the life of your system. During any cleaning, under no circumstances should you ever blow air inside this disk drive. 9 out of 10 times you're going to get a disk drive that quit working and you're going to need a repair that most likely you're not going to be able to do without destroying your system. All right, there's going to be dust inside the USB ports. Blow that out, not a problem. All right, so this box right here, as you can see, was dropped, and it's actually in my shop for a repair of the HDMI port because it is jacked on the corner. It dropped the system. Microsoft wouldn't take it back. So because I don't show videos first time opening, because I'm don't do that, I'm gonna put this back on so you can see it. There's a sticker right here, and there's a big sticker here with your serial number and everything. If you look at this USB port here, it'll be directly above it, slightly off to the left. You can see where that is. See? Straight above it, just a little bit off to the side. You can take your thumb, rub it over the plastic, find the screw, and then very carefully just cut out the above the top of it. Don't go peeling this stuff off. That's stupid. Microsoft and Sony both know you was in there, and in my opinion that's extremely dishonest for you to even do that. So don't be listening to criminals telling you to try to hide the fact that you've been in there. Okay, that's a criminal behavior. It's stupid. Like I said, they're gonna know you've been in there. I don't care how you do it. All right, so you're gonna pull off the little tab here. Leaving this or putting this back on is entirely optional. Okay, so what you're going to need to do is get yourself a tool set. I would recommend one of these. All right, I'll put a link in the video description to a tool set like this, or at least one similar to it. Yes, it'll be an affiliate link. One for Amazon, one for eBay, eBay. That way, if you have Prime, you can get it faster. If you don't, order it on eBay. But you're going to need a T9 security Torx, or T9. For this one, these don't have to be security, but a security will also work. You're going to need a T9 Torx. Do not fall for any of these people telling you to use a flat blade screwdriver or a butter knife or a piece of metal or anything to undo these screws. This metal for these screws is very soft. You will strip them out and you will damage them. You may not be able to get them out without literally ripping this thing apart or having to drill the screws out. You don't want that. So use a proper tool for the proper job. If you can't use a proper tool for the proper job, then you're an idiot and you should not be inside your system. Okay? So with that said, to remove the screws, you're going to turn to the left. Lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Okay? So we're going to turn to the left, pull the screw out. It is not very big. It is a little short screw. Okay? Not a problem. Put that down here. And we're going to do the same thing with the top. Turn it to the left. It will come right out. Okay? Now, at this point, you're done. All you got to do is pull this back piece off. You can take a spudger and put it right about here. Doesn't matter where it is. And then slightly pry down. And that will allow this bottom to come out. If you don't have something flat enough to stick in there, you can use the driver. Take it about 3 holes over and about 2, maybe 3 holes up. And then very lightly pull up and out like that. Take your finger, get it up in there like that so you can hold it out, and then just lightly pull and then go up a little bit, pull. These are all just little tabs. It'll pop out. And then the very top, let's see if I can get that in the video. Very top, there's it clips into place, so you're going to lift up and then pull straight out. Okay, so that's out. So let's get this back leaning over here to where you can actually see the inside. And let me move this over to the side over here. You want to keep your area wide open and clean and organized, but let's see. Let me get some light here. It's too much, but let's see. Yeah, that's too much light for that. If you can see where there's dust building up here. Okay, and then the primary dust that's going to kill your system is right here. All right, not up here, but right here. Let's take a look in there. All right, you can see the dust in there. That heat sink, and this system is already only 6 months old. That heat sink is about 80% blocked, which means the system is running a lot hotter than normal. Let's see if we can get a better view. I don't like this light, it's a little too bright. So let me try using my cell phone here. 1 second. There we go. Alright. Alright, can you see that dust building up? The brown. Let's get this light behind the camera. Maybe that'll work better. Yeah, it's not. There we go. Alright, there we go. Now you can see it. Alright, you see that dust? That's what kills your game system. Alright, so you're going to want to use can air or something to get in there. Let me turn this flashlight camera off. Alright, you're going to want to use canned air or anything you can, but I would recommend using an air compressor. Make sure it's not spitting water. Go in from the top using an angled sprayer that has an angle on it so that when you go in, you can get deep in there and blow down through the top side, through the heatsink. Yes, you'll want to blow off all this stuff around in here. Just go through, it's perfectly fine. But the primary concern is going to be here and right in this area and right around in here. The fan, believe it or not, this fan could be 90% caked up and packed full of dust and still do its job. Although you will want to clean it out and blow that dust out of there. You want to pay more attention to the bottom side of this heatsink to get that dust off of there, get that airflow through there. I really don't recommend blowing from this side because it can push your dust halfway up and then it will stick in there and stay. All right, especially if somebody is vaping, burning candles, vaping, smoking, or it's in a living room nearby a kitchen where you do a lot of heavy cooking and frying and stuff. The oil or nicotine or tar from the cigarettes will go inside this box because it is air cooled and all that gets drawn in. It will coat everything in an oil or tar layer, and every last speck of dust that goes in will stick and stay. As a matter of fact, let's show you what that looks like. Let's get photos here. Let me see. I got a lot of them. Let's start with, let's see. Okay. Here's some here. Alright, take a look at this. See how brown and nasty looking that dust is? Normally dust is a light tan. It's fluffy, it's soft, it blows right off. But because this guy is smoking around his system, it's drawing that in. It created a tar layer over the metals and on the heatsink on the inside, and every last speck of dust that went in stayed. Okay, so let's see. Here's another good shot of that. Okay, see that? All right, so let me find a. That one I believe was pot. Oops. Let me find another one here. This is another pot smoker. Okay. See how the dust is all caked up in the fan? That's a PS4. The last one was an Xbox. Let's see. There is a really good example of cigarettes here. Let me find it. Shouldn't be too old. Almost there. Give me a second. These are all different repairs that I've done. Okay. Let's see. Where'd it go? I know it's there. Hope I didn't accidentally delete it or something. Let's try this. Okay. So give me a second. I'll run through here. Oh. Alright, so this is cigarette smoke there. There. Oh, it's blocking the vent. Yeah. Okay. Here's a fan. Nasty, full of dirt. It's still capable of doing its job. Let's see. That's roaches. Oh, this is GameStop's cheap white chromatics that shouldn't be used on a PlayStation. Let's see. Yeah, it's from one of their refurbs. Let's see. I don't want you seeing anybody's personal information. Oh, here's a PS3. See how the dust is built on there? There's actually vents there that needs to be cleaned out. Very bad. Alright. Oops. Don't want you seeing personal private information. Let me find that real quick. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is a PS4 Slim. See how nasty black that is? And how much dust built up on the metal housing just above the fan? Okay. Not to mention the face side of the heatsink, which is closest to the fan. Okay. On this Xbox One X, the face side is the farthest away from the fan, but in your PlayStations, it's the closest to the fan. A lot of these guys, they'll pull out the power supply, and they'll look at this side of the heatsink and go, oh, there's no dust in here. And the dust is on this side. Okay, so you don't want to be doing that. All right, so where was we? Okay, air compressor it out. Use canned air, brush, whatever you can to get that out of there. Don't blow air this way, only blow air through this way so you don't get stuff stuck up in there. You don't want to be burning candles, smoking vapes or pot or cigarettes around your game system. Make everybody go outside, or you are going to kill any game system you own 70 times faster than they're already going to be killed. Under normal circumstances, the dust is going to be very light. It will come right off and be very easily blown off. But if you smoke around your system, it's not going to be blown off easily. You're going to probably wind up having to pull everything out of here and be very invasive to the system on a regular basis in order to clean that out. That you do not want. All right, these ribbon cables are not going to want to be plugged and unplugged and unplugged and plugged in a whole bunch of times. So never pull this stuff out on a preventive maintenance cleaning. Only blow it out and pay particular attention here, the dust around in this area here, and up in your fan area. Get that all blown out. All right. Now, to remove the rest of the inners, you're going to need to remove this bottom part. There's a couple more screws in here. We're not going to go into that in this video, but we're pretty much done with how to clean that out. So let's talk about putting it back together, because that is also very important. Okay, first, so you can see the dust building up here at the top, down here. Now I'm not going to clean this out. I'm not going to show you me blowing dirt up into the air. So you should be intelligent enough to figure out how I'm telling you to clean this out just with me telling you. If you're too stupid to know how to clean it out after me explaining it the way I just did, you do not have any business being inside your game system. Okay, so to put this back together, take this at about a 45-degree angle, slide it right up to the top, up here, slide that right in, and then take your fingers and push down. These tabs at the bottom, they'll be sticking out slightly past. You're going to push them in and then down. Okay, now if you want to be lazy, these two screws are not grounding points. You can leave them out for ease of cleaning later. But I always tell people, put every screw back. So when you go to put your screw back, it is very important that you turn it to the left, like as if you're going to take it out, until you hear a click. And then once you hear that click, that's the threads lining up into the plastic. Then you're going to turn to the right and snug it down. You just keep turning. Once it stops, just a teeny bit of light pressure to the right to snug it down. This is not a car. It doesn't need to be torqued. It doesn't need to be super tight. Turn to the left, line up the threads, turn to the right, and the screw will go right in. Keep turning until it stops. Maybe a tiny bit if you want, and then that's it. No more. Okay? After that, pretty much spot on for anybody across the United States is going to be once every 6 months, ideally. Some people can get away with once a year, very rarely. More often than not, you're going to find that you're going to need to clean maybe once, for some people, as much as every single month. Others 4 to 6 months, fewer or once a year. Very few people that I've never seen a game system that could go beyond a year without needing to be cleaned. But ideally, you want to keep that as clean and free as possible so that the system can do what it's designed to do. All right. When Sony and Microsoft both put the warranty seals on here and denied you access to an air-cooled system, they literally reduced the lifespan of every single one of your game systems to a factual life reduction of up to 75% depending on your air quality. If you smoke in the house, that goes up a lot more. Now, does that mean that every single system is going to die within 1 to 3 years? No. Some of these systems, the components are very strong. It was a really good system, would have lasted 20 years, but only wound up lasting 7. Okay, because it was never cleaned out. But if you keep these things cleaned out on a regular basis, the odds of any breakdown, disk drives, hard drives, chips, solder issues, all of that is virtually eliminated. I cannot say it will never break down, because eventually it will break down, and there's always a possibility of a slightly weak component somewhere failing. But it will fail a lot less often and less likely to fail very quickly if you keep it cleaned out. Okay? So cleaning them out from time to time will increase the lifespan of your box by as much as 75% just on your air quality alone. So, under regular normal circumstances, you should always turn off your game system completely before you vacuum or dust in the room. Okay? Let the dust in the room settle for a good half hour, 45 minutes-ish before you turn it back on, so that the dust in the room can settle. Dust on the counter, okay, dust on the counter, that's all said and done for. It cannot get up and crawl into your system. Okay, it's only what's floating in the air at the time it gets turned on that gets sucked in and then goes through your system. If you're smoking or vaping around it, it creates a tar or a oily layer inside, so that everything that goes in stays and keeps up residence and is a lot harder to get cleaned out, and also grabs all the other dust coming in, so it builds up 1,000 times faster than it would normally, and is also a good 80 times harder to get cleaned out. And not to mention, even if you was in a dust-free environment with that oil and tar layer from the cigarettes, it is going to reduce its ability to cool the system even without dust in it. Okay, so definitely do not be smoking pot, cigarettes, or anything. Now, if you think I'm just dogging on people who smoke, I do smoke. This is a cheapo cigarette. So I figure if I'm going to kill myself, I might as well do it as cheap as possible. Because yes, I am hopelessly addicted. I've quit so many times. I've quitting. And the only thing that's ever got me close enough to actually quitting was vaping, but unfortunately, my body built up an intolerance to the vapes, and I can no longer do them without barfing my head off. So there's that. Okay, I think rather than rambling off in the mouth, I'm going to leave this at this and say stay safe, happy gaming everybody, and remember, don't let anybody talk you into changing the thermal paste in this. It is not necessary unless a cleaning did not clear it up. If you clean the system and instead of overheating in 5 or 10 minutes, it's now overheating in high graphics games or an hour or so into the system, then yeah, if it's clean, you need to replace the thermal paste. It's most likely ran hot long enough to bake that stuff dry. Normally that stuff will last 10-15 years, so long as the system's not packed full of dust and running super hot. Alright, but 99% of the time, or at least a good 90% of the time, a simple cleaning will totally take care of all of it, and it is absolutely unnecessary to replace the thermal paste. So don't do it. And I would recommend, especially for this system, if you're a novice, do not do it. Pay somebody that's qualified to do the repair. Ask for proof of education in component level electronics at a minimum, because 98-99% of the shops around, you will find that they are self-educated from YouTube videos, have been learning through trial and error at the expense of their customers as to what they can and cannot do after watching YouTube videos and looking up on internet forums about the game systems that were put together by a bunch of people who watched a bunch of YouTube videos. Okay, so it's not a proper practice. I think it's criminal in my opinion. So definitely ask for proof of education in electronics before you take your game system to any shop. Most game shops are not going to be able to afford somebody who went to school for component level electronics, because most of them will not work for pennies. Okay, so you're going to get some guy saying, okay, this is what this guy's system's doing. This video, I want you to do that to this guy. Even though he's never soldered a day in his life, they don't care. They got their $40, $50 diagnostic fee. They're going to charge you that whether he wins or loses. 90% of the time they're going to fail miserably, at least until he's got 50, 80, 100 boxes under his belt and he learns what he can and cannot do, and then kills another couple thousand over the next year or two, learning more about what he can and cannot do. Okay, it's one thing to use a YouTube video to see somebody take something apart so that you can see how they broke stuff and actually have education to be able to do the real work, because disassembly, there's no school on the planet that's going to show you disassembly on these systems. Okay, and no school is going to teach you every single system in the world. So the YouTube videos are really good for showing disassembly, is least wise far enough to be able to clean the system, and then for actual repairmen, it's nice to be able to see a system disassembled, because they have the education to actually do the real work, and they can see how it's taken apart, so they don't have to learn through trial and error at the expense of their customer trying to figure out what it is. If you go deeper than what I just showed you, telling you straight up right now, no video on YouTube is going to give you an exact thing. You can have 100 different reasons for any error on this. Just because it's not reading disks doesn't mean it's going to be the disk drive. So if you watch a YouTube video, they're going to tell you replace the laser, and you're going to do that. It's not going to be the problem. You just wasted your money. You probably get so upset and frustrated with it, you beat it with a hammer, or you mess stuff up because you're frustrated, which is the worst thing in the world. If you ever get frustrated while this is open, stop, take a break, come back an hour later when you are calm. Trust me. So yeah, I think I'm rambling on, so I think I already said this. So this will be the last time, I promise. Stay safe.